Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at what might just be the absolute secret to mastering a new language. If you've ever felt completely stuck trying to express a complex thought, well, you are in the right place. We're diving into a full lesson based on our source material, Essential Portuguese Auxiliary Verbs and Their Conjugations. And look, let's not treat these as boring grammar rules, okay? Think of them as your ultimate linguistic toolkit for real-world expression. Because ultimately, language is all about human connection, isn't it? It brings diverse voices together. Whether you're an immigrant navigating a new life in Sao Paulo, a professional trying to expand your career, or really just a passionate language learner, you need tools that actually work in everyday life. You need to connect, share your story, and be understood clearly. So the crucial question is this: how do we express those really complex ideas? How do you say that you had already finished something before something else even happened? Or that a massive project is being built right now? You don't do it by memorizing a dictionary of new words. You do it by combining the simple words you already know using auxiliary or helper verbs. Okay, here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. What are auxiliary verbs? 2. Time with ser and haver. 3. The passive voice using ser. 4. Aspect with the star, ir, vir, and andar. 5. Mode using poder and dever. And finally, 6. Putting it all into practice. Let's get right into it. Section 1. What are auxiliary verbs? So what exactly are they? I've found it really helpful to think of them as the unsung structural heroes doing all the heavy lifting in the background. A verbal complex is basically a team effort. The auxiliary verb actually sacrifices its full original meaning to carry the grammatical weight for you. The tense, the person, the number. Meanwhile, the principal verb gets to bring the actual meaning or the, flavor of the action. It's a perfect partnership. Section 2. Time, Terran, and hover. Let's crack open our first set of tools to travel through past actions. What's kind of fascinating here is how mathematical it is. It's literally just a formula. You take your auxiliary verb, either ter or haver, and you add the past participle of your main verb. The result? A compound tense. This is your absolute go-to formula for talking about completed actions, things that are just totally wrapped up. Don't let conjugation tables overwhelm you. Just look for the patterns here. On one side, we have ter, and on the other, haver. You just conjugate these little helpers depending on who is doing the action and when, while your main verb stays exactly the same. Notice how ter shifts from tenho in the present to tinha in the past? That one single shift changes the entire timeline of your sentence. Now, you might be wondering, if they do the exact same job, why on earth are there two of them? Well, this is a fantastic nuance. If you're walking down the street, chatting with friends, or just sending a quick text, you use ter. It is the undisputed king of everyday natural language. But if you're reading a classic Portuguese novel or some highly formal document, you're going to see a ver. It's the same mathematical formula, but an entirely different vibe. Let's see this in the wild. In our source dialogue, Ana asks Pedro if he had already finished the report when the boss arrived. To say had finished, she uses the past form of ter, combined with the participle for finish. She perfectly expresses an action that was completely wrapped up before another past action even started. It's precise, it sounds supernatural, and it relies entirely on that one helper verb. Section 3. The passive voice, ser. Moving on, let's look at how we use the verb ser, which means to be, to completely shift the spotlight in our sentences. Check out this direct contrast. In the active voice, the focus is heavily on who is doing the action. I write the letter. But by switching to the passive voice, the letter is written by me, we put the letter center stage. This is an absolutely crucial tool for formal writing, news reports, or any time you need to be objective. Creating this shift is actually just a simple, mechanical three-step process. Step 1, the original doer of the action gets pushed all the way to the back to become the agent. Step 2, the object receiving the action is pulled right to the front to become your new subject. And step 3, the magic happens. You just pop in the auxiliary verb, ser. Okay, here is ser conjugated across the different tenses, but listen closely to this part because this is the exact spot where we learners usually trip up and out ourselves. When you use ser for the passive voice, the main verb actually acts like an adjective. That means it absolutely must agree in gender and number with your new subject. So if the letter is feminine, your verb ending has to reflect that. It's this beautifully interlocking system of agreement. Section 4. Aspect is estar, ir, vir, and andar. Now, if you want the real secret to sounding like a native speaker, this is it. Aspect. It isn't about when an action happens. It's about the flow of the action itself. Mapping out the phases makes this so clear. An action isn't just a tiny dot on a timeline, right? It has starting point, a messy progression phase in the middle, and a trajectory moving forward. These aspectual auxiliary verbs let us tell people exactly where we are in that process. Let's break down these 4 magical combinations. If you combine estar with a gerund, you are right in the thick of it. It's an action happening right now. Use e with an infinitive, and you're pointing to the future, showing intention. Now here's where it gets highly expressive. Use vir to describe an action that has been developing gradually up to this exact present moment. And use andar to express something you've been making a habit of recently, like, I've been looking for a job lately. It just adds so much rich texture to your speech. To anchor this in the real world, let's look at Maria's quote from the engineering firm dialogue in our source text. She says they are building a new mall. She uses estar plus the gerund for build. This perfectly captures the ongoing, active, probably chaotic process of construction. It literally puts the listener right there on the construction site with her. Section 5. Mode, poder, and deber. All right, this is where we bring human judgment into the mix. With the verbs poder and deber, we aren't just describing actions anymore. We are expressing probability, permission, and moral obligation. Their functions are wonderfully distinct. Poder is your key to unlocking capability and permission. Can I do this? Or I am able to do this. Deber, on the other hand, carries the weight of obligation, duty, or high probability. We absolutely must do this, or it should happen. They sit right in front of your main verb and instantly modify its entire intent. I absolutely love this example from Zhang. Look at how beautifully he strings these tools together in a single thought. First, he uses ir to show his future intention. I'm going to study. Then he uses poder to express the capability he hopes to gain, to be able to talk. He's literally using auxiliary verbs to build a bridge from his current intention all the way to his future capability. It's just brilliant language construction. Section 6. In practice. So let's look at your brand new toolkit all laid out. You have ter and haver to completely conquer the timelines of the past. You have ser to shift the focus of your narrative with the passive voice. You have the dynamic group of estar, ir, vir, and andar to give shape, habit, and progression to your actions. And finally, you have poder and deber to express your capabilities and duties. Mastering these helper verbs is for sure the single most efficient way to unlock complex expression without needing endless vocabulary lists. But knowledge is really just potential until it's applied, right? So here is my challenge for you to explore this week. Take a good look at this toolkit. Which specific tool are you going to intentionally test out in your next conversation or email? Just pick one and watch how it transforms your expression. Thanks for exploring this lesson with me on The Explainer, and I will see you next time.